everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Matthews, and I'm excited to be here. I love bringing you guests, amazing speakers, amazing industry professionals that I run into along the way. And so today is no different. One of our partners is joining us, and I'll just let you take it from here. Sean, tell us kind of who you are and what you do.
Hi, Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Charlie. My name is Sean Cleary. I am the e-marketing specialist for Electrostatic Technology. We manufacture these little shaft grounding rings. I'm looking around on my desk. Got one here. This is actually, I think this is in a Garlock seal. I'm not sure, but they they protect motors from bearing damage due to electrical current passing through the bearings. Um, so how did I get here?
Yeah, that's the
Something.
question. That was, like reading my mind. I do want to know, like, how did you get into this space?
Well, I wrapped up college around 2008, which you recall was kind of a messy job market. So I sort of drifted from one temp job to another, and then a few years later, I ended up getting a job to work on do research in a rented database here at Electrostatic Technology. And they liked my work enough to offer me a customer service position when one became available. And then shortly after that, I needed a cover letter for a mailing we were going to do, and my boss Adam said, "Oh, just you can write. Don't worry, you're fine. Just run it by me when you're done." So I drafted one and showed it to him, and he said, "All right, this is good. You can put together a coherent sentence." Well, thanks, Adam. Okay. And yeah, it was pretty much that. From there, they bumped me into marketing specialist, and it did help that I have my in college I did a bunch of physical sciences, so I wasn't a total stranger to electromagnetism roughly, and
Yeah, I was curious about this. I saw that you had a master's in chemistry, and you're like, chemistry to marketing, how does this happen? And were you just fascinated with it?
oh yes, yeah, I was and still remain fascinated, but no, I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I ended up actually doing my thesis on theoretical chemistry, which maybe, it seemed a better idea in theory than marketable,
I am
so to
laughing,
speak.
so I'll talk so you can see that I am laughing. I get jokes. Um, so as we kind of shift, and you have that background, very kind of technical, science-based background, so you can see all of this stuff and how it plays out in our industrial world here. What is it like being a marketing, professional in that space?
It's kind of weird. There's a lot of head scratching. The one of the biggest things I have is uh brochures. Like, we manufacture a product to protect bearings. There are competing products, and I want to learn about them. Okay, do they work as described? Is this what's going on here? So, reading brochures and white papers and websites, it's like there's I've noticed that there's a lot of industrial marketing has a problem with sizing. You'll have a figure about this big that with writing that's absolutely illegible underneath it, and I'm squinting at it, wondering, does this prove what they say, or is this like just some graphic they pixelated and put on here?
So really just getting that information out in a way that we can read it for one, that we can consume it. So like producing the materials. I could go a lot of different different areas that with just producing the materials that we need today. But for the marketing, the challenge of kind of shifting the way people consume content for one. and what their expectation are, because people still ask for a brochure, people still ask for things
Yeah.
like that, but do they use them?
Yeah, from my chair, I'm not sure what they can tell. They're certainly, they download and request our printed materials, I can tell you. So it's kind of a delicate line to walk. Like, uh, it's well, I mean, it's marketing. It's almost like public relations for engineers. So like, I'm out here. Okay, I'm gonna. It's like you just have to know your audience. Like when if your grandmother asks you what you do, there are some details of your job that you omit, as opposed to, a colleague. Oh, what do you do over there? You can, be more technical. So it's like walking the line uh between like I don't know, say between an engineer and a 12th grade teacher. Somewhere along that range is probably where you should be speaking at.
Yeah, so for our marketers and just the ability to tell that story in a way that gets their interest, and then we move into getting more details. And you got to have layers, right? Like layers of details. Like what do they need to know to kind of get them interested in this? What do they, or if they're seeking information and need an answer to this, how can we form it where it pulls up the right thing? And then as it evolves, like okay, how do they get and learn more and more and more, depending on yeah, which one of those
Right.
groups of people are you actually talking to, and how many years of experience do they have? And so I think that, I know that industry is shifted and headed in that direction and trying to create resources. But where do you see us going?
Um, I I'm not really sure. I think, I've been in my role for a few years now, watching trends come and go. I think at this point it's probably safe to say we are not going into the metaverse. We're not going to be living in a Facebook simulation and trying to do our marketing there, which is probably for the better. Um, I think at the moment these AI, the large language machines have kind of a lot of promise, but they've also got huge numbers of problems because they're apt to just make things up and then just double down and no, this is absolutely it. They'll cite you fake sources and so yeah, I think the there are a couple of things going on here. Like for years, for 20, 30 years, Google has been, people have been perfecting SEO, search engine optimization. They're writing things that Google will think that people want to read. And that's not always true. Just over the past few years, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, click on an article, like skim it. Okay, this is all just fluff. All right, go back, try another one. And the problem with AI is that it tends to do that too. Sometimes it seems to go deeper, but it's actually just hallucinating, they charmingly call it.
I love this because I see this. It kind of just repeats the same thing over and over in a different way.
Yeah,
So we're only rewording, right? We're not really learning at that next level. So I think we got to be really, really careful in that. And to your point, well, we're needed for one, and we
yeah.
have to continue to figure out how to help these tools along. Basically, how do we get better at communicating and using the
Yeah.
tools that are out there?
There's a lot of opportunity for really, for marketers who know their product, who know their audience, to talk to them on the level. Because with a lot of what shows up on search results, between too much SEO and nowadays too much AI writing. The good news is, if you're good at it, you can rise above that and stand, head and shoulders above the the word salad.
Yes, absolutely. And so pay attention to your audience. That's what I heard. Know your people. Know who you're trying to actually communicate with, and know your products. Started that way, straight out the gate, right? Tell us a little bit more about the just working there, um, and kind of the products themselves.
Well, we are a company on the grow for sure. When I started here in 2011, and I had to check my calendar over here. That's why I keep looking. What day is it again? I started in 2011, and I think we had a little over 30 employees. We've more than doubled in size since then. There's um, a lot going on in here, and let me see if I have a better example of our product now. All I've got are these versions of our product in inside a seal, which is fine. I mean, you guys empowering does a lot of pump work, so this is very relevant. But here's a seal. It's brass, and on the inside, this aluminum ring, that's ours. And what this does is our ring sits on the motor shaft, and this black in here, this is conductive microfibers, which when those are touching the shaft and the frame of the ring is in contact with the motor frame, what that's going to do is prevent any charge from building up on the motor shaft, which would that could potentially discharge through the bearings. And if bearing discharge can and does cause damage that builds up and causes premature bearing failure. And then when that happens, you got to repair the motor or buy a new one. And you've also got your production shutting down, which nobody likes.
Yes. And so this is a huge problem that we had, problem solved. So really glad that y'all worked. I know that was a huge, I've been in the industry for a while. I know that that was a huge issue. And I love that we have created products to, I say we, that the industry has created products that help with that.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we're going to see you at different events coming up and where people can kind of talk and ask questions about this. Anything else you want to leave our listeners with?
Uh, I had put down some notes of words of wisdom over here, but
Well, let's hear it. We want to be wise.
yeah, yeah. Um, Stick to the story. Keep your words clear and true, or true as appropriate to whatever level. You don't need to start with like Einstein or quantum mechanics and build up to the level. And keep your figures legible.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so I can't let you go without rapid fire. I want to know, what is your favorite book?
Book, oh my God. Uh
I love it. I love
Wow,
these
the clock
questions.
is
They're my
ticking.
favorite.
I'm just gonna say House of Leaves. It's not, but it's incredibly weird and
Okay.
uh and kind of
Just to let
awesome.
us know that you're weird. I like it. And then what's your favorite music?
Well, the last concert I saw was Metallica this past weekend, and the next one I'm going to see is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which, believe it or not, is a real band.
Yes,
They're Australian, if that helps.
awesome, awesome. Okay. Shifting gears a little, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Probably stick to the story.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
if you try to, if you go off the rails, you're gonna end up God knows where. Just stick to the story, and when you can't do that, plead the fifth.
Okay. So as a marketer, we'll put on that hat for a moment, and you want to give somebody advice. What advice would you give them coming into our industry?
It's salespeople's jobs to sell products. It is marketers' jobs to sell brands. So figure out what is your brand? How do you want your brand to be positioned? What do you want them to be? Do you want them to be the cool ones, the funny ones, the smart ones, the stodgy old professor with the pocket protector? Figure out your brand and stick to the story. Sell that.
I love it. Thank you so much for that. Needed to hear that myself. If you will let us know how best to get in touch with you, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah. Uh, right now or after the broadcast?
Yes, how best for people if they want to get in touch with you, how should they reach out?
Um, the easiest way is my email. The viewers don't realize this, but Charlie and I tried to do this interview earlier, but my home internet connection was not up to the task of transmitting. So probably better to do email that requires less bandwidth.
We
And
won't make
my
you Zoom with everybody, Sean, just me, but
yeah,
you don't have to Zoom with everyone. Well, good. So we'll put that. We'll also kind of put a link to the website in the show notes. And anything else that you want to leave them with?
keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down.
And stick to the scripts. So until next time, everybody, be empowering.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.